Good afternoon, this is Paul. Now, we're no stranger to a Jaguar Land Rover here at Bramshaw, a long history of it, and we do like something a bit special. The car behind me is just that. The car behind me is something a bit special. It's a 2024, it's an early 24, Range Rover Sport P530 First Edition. It's done 11,500 miles. It's a fabulous spec, it looks amazing, and I'd like to show you around. So here we have it's registered in the first quarter of 2024. P530 V8 petrol supercharged, more than enough power than you'll ever need, and quite a bit of road presence. It's in Santorini black, and I'm going to show you around this paintwork because it's absolutely lovely. So I'm going to come straight in. It's a nice sunny day, and you can just see the clarity in the finish. You can see all those different colours of sparkle, all to make up Santorini black, which just looks fabulous. And if you look across the bonnet, you can see a really clear sky. You can see that tree very clearly, and that one, all those clouds. Very nice, very clear paintwork. Now if I start on the right hand side, I'm going to work my way along, and again the theme continues. My camera is struggling to catch up with anything. You can see every leaf nice and clearly. Lovely clear panels. Nice shiny paintwork. Come around to the back. Very clean back end. So these later model Range Rovers, they've really kind of smoothed off the back end here, streamlined everything. And you can see there more of that lovely reflection and a really good paint. So it streamlines it. It does make it more aerodynamically efficient because less complicated shapes tend to do that. But I think it also makes it look very modern. I'll come back to those exhausts in a minute. I'm going to continue with this paintwork. So all the way down the side. A nice clear reflection. All the way down, lovely panel gaps. Now, tucked into those wheel arches are 23-inch wheels. So they really fill the wheel arches very nicely. They're sitting on Pirelli Scorpions. And if you look, I mean, that 23 inches is a huge wheel. If you look at the size of the brake disc behind the wheel and the caliper behind the wheel, that gives you some indication as to what this car is capable of. Yes, it's a big heavy car. It's got a lot of brake horsepower. It's capable of propelling this car to well over 120 miles an hour, and you need big brakes to better stop it, and they do stop it very well indeed. So it keeps this car under control, tames the beast, so to speak. But I think the look of the car with those 23-inch wheels, it looks right. I think previous Range Rovers with such large wheels kind of looked a little bit out of place, but it just seems to work. And it goes with the overall sort of sporty feel of the car. Now, if I open one of these doors, doesn't matter whether it's the front or the rear, you'll see there is a deployable side step. When I mean deployable, that means it pops out and pops back in again as and when you need it. So open the door, pops out, close the door, pops back in again, keeps the aerodynamics as good as possible. And of course you do have that on both sides. Pop that door out, pops, you can see just my footprint on it, but and then it waits for a second, it pops back in again. Nice feature. Helps to get in and out of the car. Now I alluded to these exhaust pipes. Now this has got a switchable sports exhaust. You can see here you've got some nice carbon fibre, satin carbon fibre exhaust trims. And from the back, definitely a very meaningful thing. The fact that it's switchable is brilliant because yes, you can hear all the snarl and bark when you want to, but when you want to come home a bit later at night and you don't necessarily want to upset the neighbours or wake anybody up, you can turn them onto quiet mode and then you can slide by pretty much unnoticed. There are your aerials in here. Now if I pop the button, there's just a one press button here. That opens up the boot lid. Camera is just there, that's reversing camera, and you can see there, I'm going to press that in a minute, that is the auto shutting of the boot lid. And here you have a parcel shelf which slides in and out, which gives you a decent amount of loading space. So it's a practical car. You can get some large objects in here. You can easily get luggage in here for holidays and that sort of thing. And of course there's a bit more space tucked underneath there. You can adjust the rear seats down from here, and if I press that, you hear this whirring and beeping noise, and then one of those pops out. So we have a tow bar with electrics, and you can hear that's now locked into place. If I want to tuck it out of the way, and I can do, and it just pops straight back out of the way, and it does disappear like it wasn't there. So you have a trim piece under there. So now that's disappeared, only the most experienced Land Rover people will understand what's tucked in behind that panel. You've also got here on this side the suspension. So at the moment the suspension is raised, as it is lowered onto comfort position, but if I push that button and just, you can see my hand is still, the car is rising. So if you are loading things into the back, depending on where it is, you can raise and lower. If you are going off-road, you look at the gap now between the wheel and the top of the wheel arch. If you are going off-road, or if you've got some deep water, now one thing that we seem to be getting more and more of in the UK is deep water. Every September the rain starts. You can see here you've got a nice gap underneath here. The whole body of the car is raised up significantly. So if you've got a body of water, big puddles, that sort of thing, happens every year, we get an awful lot of floods, then this car is going to give you a lot better wading capabilities. If I press the button here to go down, just going to let it go down, keep the camera nice and straight, you'll see the car going down. So at the comfort setting, you've got 2'6" wading depth, which is not too shabby at all. Then 2'9" in the medium setting, and then in the high setting you've got 2'11". So that gives you plenty of scope. And you can see now there, that is where the suspension sits on comfort setting. And this section here is a lot lower, so if you're loading something heavy into the back, you can drop the suspension, make it easier to pop the thing in the back and then put it up afterwards. And that is fully electric closing. As you can see there, pulls it down, locks it in place. We've also got here, now I'm going to pull the door and I'm just going to close it just very gently. And you can feel that it's got a soft close, so the kids don't need to be slamming the doors anymore. You can literally just do that, and the catch in the door grabs hold of the door, pulls it in tight, so you're not having to slam doors. The whole thing is a lot more reasonable. Meridian surround sound system. So in terms of equipment, this is the first edition, so it's not an SE or an HSE or any of those. It's the first edition, so you've got some really nice bits of attention to detail. You've got a really nice soft feeling here, which feels like a really soft leather, a lovely fabric, and then we've got a composite material between that and the leather armrest. That leather armrest does feel lovely. The leather on this is very soft, very neat, double stitching all the way around. But this composite material is very light. It's rigid and it's strong. It doesn't necessarily need to be strong here, but it's light and rigid. And the last time I saw composite material like that in a car, it was on a Lamborghini. So that is quite cool. It makes a nice change from the carbon fibres, the sort of crisscross pattern that you get with carbon fibre. And what it does is it just gives you a really nice quality feel, quality look. I do like that very much. Your seats, so that is the base of the seat and that's the back of the seat, so you can just move it up and down and backwards and forwards depending on which way you want to go, and the seat will follow. So first edition on the tread plate, nice mats there, and then you've got this bi-colour interior. So you've got the dark, and that is an Alcantara. It's a suede headlining. So suede is really light, so being high up they want to make it as light as possible. And what it also does, it helps a lot with sound deadening, because one of the things about the Land Rover is how quiet, how comfortable and isolated you feel in it. So you are protected from the elements. Cosseted is probably a good word to use. And if I look at this leather, you can see here you've got a sort of a solid smooth grain, and then you've got a perforation that's running through the seat here and through the back of the seat there. Now what we've got here is as well as having electric adjustment, you've got a heater element in there, nothing unusual about that, but you've also got seat cooling. So there's a fan which blows air up through here and through here. So on a day much like today, if you've got a suit on or a dress or something that really is quite sensitive to body heat and what have you, that helps to keep everything cool, keep you feeling fresh on a long journey, which is rather nice. And of course, a lot of the people who drive cars like this, they will be very sensitive to not feeling fresh. So business meetings, treating clients, that sort of thing. Now just sort of scouring around the interior, you can see it's all black apart from this lovely contrast in the seats, contrast on the door caps, and across the centre of the dash, and this beautiful steering wheel. I love the bi-colour. I love the stitching all the way around the inside. If you can see that, there we go. It feels nice. It looks good. Feels like nice quality. Cruise control with a speed limiter. Heated steering wheel. One of the best things in the world when it gets cold. And then this series of buttons here drives that screen. But really nice, a nice feel about it. If I just put my foot on the brake and press the start-stop button, now you can just hear that rumble. So that's the exhaust with that lovely V8 tucked into it. You can see here 11,548 miles. We do have a little exclamation mark there. We have some service actions to do. I think we've got some new brake pads to put on it. And this screen, big screen, nice and easy to see. It does duplicate a lot of that onto here if you want to. And I'm going to give you a quick brief rundown. So at the bottom here, we've got 3 filled in dots, and then another 3 that aren't filled in, another 3 that aren't filled in. That tells me that if I swipe across, there are other pages, and all these dots that are populated show the information that's shown there. Okay, so that's kind of your shortcuts. If you want to go into your apps, then there's a button here which goes into the apps for the car. The dynamic, you can adjust the dynamics of the car, on and off, suspension, so you really can customize this as much as you like and as you go. Suspension, in terms of how stiff it is, the gear shift, how quickly it changes up and down through the gears, the steering, how quick it goes from one corner to another, one lock to another, and how the engine mapping works. So that's rather cool. You can change the character of the car while you're driving it. If I work my way down, I can see here that we've got deployable side steps. Now you saw the side steps work as I open and shut the doors, but if you want to have them out and leave them out so that you can put things under the roof, you press that. I can hear that and I can feel that. The side steps are now deployed and they are working. That black line, I can't see that myself, I can only see that on my phone. So close that off like that. Navigation, all the things you'd normally think. Heated seats, turn them on. You can. There's a lot of adjustment there. There's a lot of things you can do, and what I'm feeling now is the massage section. I'm feeling it on the back. If you have back problems or you spend a lot of time driving your car, you're going to love this. And I do get a lot of back problems, so massaging and pulse and wave, all that sort of thing, I'm all over that. I think that's lovely. Climate control you can adjust from here, but you've also got your climate control buttons here. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Low traction launch, 4x4 information, tow bar. So as you saw from the back of the car, you can deploy it from the back of the car, but you can also deploy it from the inside. You can just hear that working. And it's locked into place. That black line is my camera, not the car, because you can see it's going up and down. And then I'm going to stow it away again. Pops it back away. No dirty hands. No having to put gloves on, because of course the tow bar is always right at the back underneath the car, and it's gone. It does not get any simpler than that. So I can then scroll down to have more apps here. So weight sensing, as I said to you before, this gives you various different options. So if I was to press that button here, and then I can turn the dial and I can select different off-road items there, and now we're into weight sensor. There we go. Now the car is raising up again. Here we go. So now we're back at maximum, almost back at maximum height. There we go. And if I then turn that right down to comfort, you'll see the car starts to go down again. Let's go there. It goes down one end first and then the other. But you can see it's now dropping. 2.8. I go to motorway. I can feel it's dropping even further. So you can adjust the height of the car from the inside as well as the back of the car. I'll put that on eco for the minute. There we go. So let's get rid of that. So if I scroll through a bit further now, air quality. Air quality, I get hay fever. Let's see if I can see that without the black mark on there. So I get hay fever. If you have hay fever, or if you're in the city and you are behind buses and diesel lorries and that sort of thing, which are throwing out lots of nasties, you can purify the air, you can monitor the CO2, you can ionize the air. Now, ionizing the air basically helps to take all foreign objects out of the air. The net result is, inside here, you end up with a really nice, clean air. It's not full of pollen, it's not full of contaminants, and it helps to keep you healthy, you more comfortable, and your children and whoever else you're carrying in the car as well. That's one of the most underrated things I can think of. Lovely. So it also tells you the quality of the air that you're surrounded with. That's a lovely item. Now if I just scroll down here as well, I can show you that we have park assist. So that shows you that this car will park itself. You have to do the brake and you have to select forward and reverse and do the brakes. It will steer for you. So if you're not too hot on parking, the car can certainly help you there. You've got Alexa, weather, connected accounts. Lots of useful items there. Put it back to home, and there we go. In terms of cameras, You can see different angles. This is more for if you're off-roading, if you're manoeuvring in tight spaces. If I pop the car into reverse now, you'll see that now reverts back to a nice clear camera. And then here you can see you've got this overall view. It's because the sun's coming through. It's the sun that's doing that to my camera, so please excuse me. So now, if I now turn the steering wheel to the left, you can see that here you've got a yellow line, and here you can see you've got a nice curve. That gives you an indication as to the trajectory of the car at this particular steering angle. And if I straighten it up, you can see now we come back straight again. That makes parking a lot easier. You do have these big mirrors either side, which does make the car feel a lot smaller, but if it's dark and it's raining and you've got water on those, that helps. That really does help. That's a really nice option. You've got start stop, as you can see here. Park, reverse, neutral, drive. There's a little lever there. Pull that back, it goes into drive. Pull it forward, goes into reverse. Press for park. Nice and simple. You saw the off-road button here. And then here is your air conditioning. So you can adjust that side, adjust it that side. And if I want to, I now press the button and I can either have heated seats, or if I turn it around this way, cooled seats. That's what I was telling you earlier. So now it's going to engage. You can hear the fan just cutting in, and I can feel that already. Cool air on my backside, back of the seats, and my lower back. That makes things very comfortable. Turn it off just for a second. There we go. Nice and easy. It doesn't get any easier than that. With the gear change, I can see we have a paddle on this side. The left-hand one changes down with the minus. The right-hand one changes up. It's powerful enough to be fun. It is definitely powerful enough to be fun. At the moment, you're showing 2 gauges. If I press this button here, then I can change the display layout. I can just use these arrows to go up and down. I'm going to display layout here, and I'm going to go map. This is a fully customizable system. I'm going to press the round button again, display layout again. I'm going to go focused. And I'm going to press the round one again, display layout, and put it back into the dials. So this is a customizable screen, depending on what you want to look at. Fabulous, nice and easy to use. Wheel lights and everything are all automatic, as are your wipers. There are cup holders in there, and there is a refrigerated cool box for 2 different heat settings. Really cold, pretty cold, and off. And because it's like a boat, cool air tends to drop. So having a top loading refrigerated cool box means that the cool air stays in there even when you open the lid, much like you get if you have a boat. Very nice. Clear sight rear view mirror. What that means is conventional mirror. If you've got people in the back and lots of luggage, or the view at the back isn't very good, that then engages the camera on the back of the car. It gives you a nice clear view, as the name suggests. And then the sunroof is opening and shutting, as well as having the blind. And it's a full-length panoramic roof. These armrests, I love these. You can use this wheel, and you can adjust the height at where this stops, so that's always nice and comfortable for you. Put your arm on rather than putting on the lid of the cool box. Now I'm going to go into vehicle, off-road access. I'm going to go to dynamic. Everything's in dynamic. There we go. I'm just going to give you an indication as to what this exhaust. I don't normally rev engines when I'm stood still, but I feel this is worthy. That sounds pretty cool. The fact that it's switchable is good. When it's on sports mode, it's a really deep, sort of a growly note, which is very aggressive. I do like it a lot. I think it suits the car. You've got a lot of attention to detail here. Just going to turn that off. So you've got a lot of attention to detail. You've got a lot of power. It's very, very comfortable. All the options you could think of, a lot that you couldn't think of. What a brilliant all-rounder. And it looks cool. So I hope you like the car. I hope you like the video and find the video useful. You can just hear the suspension just leveling out now. If you'd like to know more about the car, please visit our website, www.bramshawebv.com. Drop us an email, drop us a text or a WhatsApp, or pick up the phone and speak to us. We'd love to talk to you about it. Thank you for watching.